Let's talk about all this fun stuff you're doing. All right, I want to let's start with Law and Order SVU. Let's start.
Okay. What do you want to
Oh
know?
my God. Okay, first of all, you did a couple of episodes of Law and Order how a while ago, yeah?
I mean, two, technically. The first one I got cut. And I made I'd never been on TV. That was, I think, my very first TV thing ever. And it's a big New York actor thing. Like, if you haven't been on one of the Law and Orders, like, it's a rite of passage. So I was so excited because I was behind all my friends. I hadn't got my Law and Order. So I was so excited. I had a big party and I had like my friends over and we're all gonna watch. And we're watching and we're watching. And I was like, huh. That looks like the crime scene I was at. Maybe there's another crime scene. Nope. So I learned a lot of lessons that day. But the good thing about that though is it still counts. Like it's a credit. I still get residuals. But because I wasn't actually on camera, it freed me up to come back on pretty soon again in another role, which I believe my line was the body's over there. You're welcome.
And this woman an Emmy.
Thank you. The Emmy's in the mail for the body's over there. Yep.
That is amazing. It's true for people that don't know that that is a staple. That is as an actor in New York,
Yep.
Law and Order, it's a rite of passage. It's Broadway and Law and Order,
And
which
it got to the point where people were teasing me about it. Like seriously, like I was so behind. Like everyone I knew, my whole generation of like, friends that I was coming up with, they were like, "You haven't done Law and Order yet?" I was like, "No, okay, no. Can we drop it?"
now here you are on SVU in an incredible role. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's funny. They called like end of day on a Friday and they were like, "Can you have a fitting on Monday?" And I didn't even read the script. But like I live here, they're like 20 blocks away. And I kind of thought, oh, somebody dropped out and they need somebody at the last minute. And I'm like totally game to like jump in. And I assumed it was like maybe 1, 2 days of work playing a, random lawyer or, maybe the body's over there and they're dead. Like maybe something like that. So we did the deal and I signed on before I even read it. And so then obviously I read the script the next day. I didn't really rush about it. And I had to call my agent and I was like, "What's the name of my character again?" And they said Megan. I was like, "Nah, nope, not Megan. You check again." I was like, "Megan's on every page." So no. So it was really just thrilling, the whole thing. I mean, anytime you just get a straight offer, no matter what the role, no matter, big or small, it's so flattering. It's such an honor. It's such a compliment. And then to like find out the role was like this barn burner it was just crazy. And I had the best time. I mean, it's weird to say like doing an episode on SVU about sexual assault and, this very traumatic thing, but the process of shooting it was so much fun. It was weird.
It's so cool. I want to jump back to it, but it's so interesting that you say that because I read an article where you were talking about that with the perfect couple too, where you had gotten cast in that role and you're like, are you sure?
I said first thing I said to my agents, well, I don't know. I think it was a flurry of, the business goes through cycles. Sometimes there's a ton of auditions and then sometimes there's just nothing. And I think it was in a flurry. And I had done like, I think 3 self tapes in a day. And I kind of lost track of which project was with whom and what it was for. I was just trying to do the best work I could as quickly as I could. And I remember my agents saying to me when I was doing the things, this one's a big deal. And I couldn't remember which one it was. And so then I booked it pretty quickly after I auditioned. No callback, no nothing, because I had worked with Suzanne before. And I think she was just like, oh yeah, no, I know her. We get along really well. She'll be great. And when I got the job, my agents were like, this was the big one. And I was like, really? I said, why is it big? Like, who's in it? Like, what is it? And they sent me, I think they had like half of the cast list. Like they had Nicole, they had Liv, they had Dakota, I think at that point. I called them and I said, should we tell them now they've made a terrible mistake? Or should I just fake it till I make it, maybe get a couple days in the can, and then they'll realize they've made a terrible mistake. But it was a blast. It was so, first of all, it was in, Chatham, Mass. My family, my cousins, all, my family is from Fall River, which is why they made my character from Fall River, because I know that accent backwards and forwards. And so I get to visit with my cousins. My mom is from there, so she came. Like it was like, it was a beautiful mansion. It was like just an incredible, and we just laughed. We laughed. Mike Meach and I, and Nick, who played Deputy Dog. I used to call him Crampa Donuts. I can't remember what his real character name was. And the three of us just had so much fun. Like police days on the set were kind of like everybody's favorite because our material generally wasn't like super heavy, but it was like the three of us just like goofing around. It was bliss. And all those fancy stars, like all those big deals, they were like so nice to me. Like I was kind of, I was obviously in the list of series regulars. I'm on the bottom, and that's totally cool because I'm just happy to be there. But I was also like, whew, I don't know how everyone's gonna feel about me being there. And everyone was just so kind and fun and funny, and it was like summer stock with a huge budget. It was just great.
You're so flippin' good in this role. You're
Thank you.
good. You're like, I feel like you are the anchor of the show. You're the way your character just kind of weaves through, and she just anchors all these different situations and characters down. Like
She's
you're
a straight man. Yeah.
yeah, you're amazing in it.
Thank you. I mean, it was really fun for me because I do roles like that, not frequently, but in the theater, I've done very still, very small roles, right? So I have it in my repertoire, but on camera, I've never had the opportunity to play a character like that. My characters are usually, a little frantic or funny or wacky, or, so it was really fun to just play someone very still. And, as we say in the theater, I was the straight man, and the straight man's job literally is what you said. You need a character, you need somebody sort of holding it together so that everybody else, you're the strings that hold all the balloons together. And the more tight you are as a straight man, the further everybody else can go with their choices. They can be bigger, they can be zanier, because you've always got the straight man there holding everybody, holding the story, keeping it from flying away, basically. So it was really thrilling to be the straight man. I enjoyed it immensely. I loved it. And Suzanne and I, you know, I, I don't know what it is, but like we were together on The First Lady and we just hit it off. I don't know. And we just find each other hilarious. And I attribute a lot of that to her as well. She was really, really great about keeping me in that place. I think once she said to me, I think this was about 2 months in, so everyone knew that I'm really like this in real life. I'm not my character at all. And she said to me, Donna Lynne, this time make more of a meal out of it, I think. Make more of it. And I was like, what? And the whole crew, like, and I was like, oh. And she was like, no, 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 I forgot who I was talking to. No, 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 don't make a meal. Forget I said. And I was like, no, I got witnesses. I said, come on, give me one. Clearly they didn't use it, but I was like, never tell a comedian to make a meal out of it. Are you kidding? There'll be nothing left. I'll chew everything in here.
So good. I love your versatility across the board. And I kept thinking like, because the dance number, that everyone does. So I was like, okay, if your character, Perfect Couple, had a theme song, what would it be?
Be the Dragnet theme. Andy,
Ooh,
how does that go? How does it go, Dragnet? Ba-ba-da-da-da-da. No, what is it? Andy, it's so famous. It's my husband. He's also a musical theater person.
I should totally have that in my head. I should know the Dragnet theme.
We should. Damn it. I listen to Dragnet all the time.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. No, I'm a big true crime fan. I love, the books. I love Agatha Christie. I like Sherlock Holmes, but I also love new podcasts, and then I also love the old radio shows. I love Johnny Dollar, and so I'm a big fan of the genre as well. So
I would also love to see. So if your characters because both are like law and order justice related. So if your characters from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Law and Order, and The Perfect Couple were all in a courtroom together, who would
oh my
be
God, I didn't even realize that.
who? Who would be judge, lawyer? Who would be on the stand? Like who would play what role?
Well, obviously Megan would be on the stand, and Paula would absolutely be defense. And I think she would have probably broken a bunch of laws to get whatever she had. She'll lie. She'll do whatever. She probably brings a lot of props. I think she's probably like a whiteboard trolling TikTok kind of thing. Yeah, she's in it to win it. She'll break any law she can to win. And I think, Detective Nikki Henry's probably the prosecution. So I think it's a little triangle there where you got Megan in the middle and Detective Nikki Henry in the prosecution, and then you get just Paula, just like, you know.
Gosh, can we please do a one-woman show with you? Just reimagining these.
Can you imagine? Just do like a three picture zoom of all of the God, they're so different too. Like I'm not thinking about it now. That
How
would
awesome
be
would that
hilarious.
be, right?
Yeah.
I love it. I love
I love where your head's at. I love it.
this idea. And you mentioned you're a true crime fan. So was there anything in when you were filming Law and Order or you're filming The Perfect Couple
Yeah.
that was like an Easter egg or a blink and you miss it moment that you threw in from something that kind of you stuck with you?
Uh, you mean like you mean like I tossed something in there that not a lot of people might see? In The Perfect Couple, I definitely threw in a lot of Columbo. Can I tell you a story about but Peter Falk, right? Peter Falk was Columbo.
Yeah.
Okay, you know this famous move where he walks forward and he usually goes, well, I just wanted to. Um, do you know that he had trouble finding his mark? And so he created and incorporated in this famous iconic character this move so he could look at his mark and then be in the right place.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome? Because
Wow.
I also have a really hard time. I don't know if it's because I'm from the theater or I don't really see that well. My peripheral vision is not awesome. Um, I did throw in some Columbos with the hands in the pockets all the time, the notepad. Suzanne hated the notepad. She tried so hard And this is how Suzanne would try to get me to get rid of the notepad. She wouldn't directly say, I hate the notepad, get rid of it, which is normally what she would do. She's very direct. She would be like, oh, I hate it in cop things when the cop has a notepad. I'm like, oh, that's so weird. Anyway, like I just kept waiting for her to just directly tell me to get rid of it, and she never did. So I was like, it's in the script that she has a notepad. I'm just saying.
And I read too, also, shorthand.
I do. I learned shorthand while I was playing Paula Proctor because I spent hours at that desk. I spent hours at that desk, shot after shot after shot, and I'm at the desk and you can't really see me and they're shooting. I mean, I loved that desk, first of all. Props was like ingenious with this stuff. And once they realized that I was sniffing around that desk and going into the drawers and looking at the books that they had put in there, they started to like hide pictures of the crew, like, but one of the books, it was on shorthand. And also as Paula, if I wasn't at the desk, I was in the meeting room with my billfold, constantly, you know, taking notes as a paralegal. And so, yeah, it was just something fun. And I remember the camera, uh was doing a close up on my note taking, which I wasn't aware of because a lot of the camera work in The Perfect Couple was, you know, it organic and it moved a lot. Like it might start here on you, but then in the shot they might zhunk, go down to your hand, and I wasn't aware. And so I remember like the camera came up to me and said, "Hey, by the way, we're on your hands, so like don't like nonsensically scribble." I was like, copy that, great note. Actually not scribbling using shorthand, but I hear you and I'm gonna write real words for you for this take.
Wild, people lose sight of how important that is. As a reporter, when I first started
Great
doing
skill.
carpet, I actually used to take notes while I was on the carpet, like old school reporting.
Yes, you did.
And people were like so confused by it. I mean, this was a while ago. This was like over 10 years ago. But
Yeah.
people were like, at the time, they're like, what are you writing? What are you doing? And I was like, well,
My job.
a job. Yeah. I mean, obviously, as years went on, I was like, yeah, record.
You know what's crazy though? I teach occasionally, like I'll teach class, acting class, singing class, whatever. And the kids, they'll have their phones out and they're sort of doing dictation with the phones, but this is what I see during class, and it's so not what I grew up with. I mean, I'm Gen X,
Mhm.
and I just get to the point where I'm just like, hey, youngsters, I love that you are taking notes. I need this. I need to know you know what I'm talking about. Can we all just put our phones away? Will you be all right? Will you be okay? How do we take notes? I'm like,
Yeah, it remains to be seen. Like I hope there is, I would imagine it does also help you really plant your character. Like there is something really special about the note-taking process. Like and
thank
the
you. I love it was, I liked it. I liked that she was old school.
yeah.
She was Columbo. Columbo always has little, I just like that she's old school and, she does the things that work for her and she doesn't give a shit what anybody else thinks. She just doesn't care. She just does it the way she does it. And the whole point is to figure out who the murderer is, and then I'll be gone.
I love that about her. Now that you say that, I have now want to go back and rewatch the series and pick up on all your little Columbo-esque Easter eggs in
Mhm.
there. Also,
Well,
too.
I mean, I think one of the reasons why she's also such a great character is that she's not in the novel technically, but another character called Nikki the Greek that she's sort of based on loosely is. And I think that, Detective Nikki Henry is a man's role. And so there's none of that extra layers of crap that women's roles get. Like I think if it had been conceived as a woman's role, like Mike and I would have kissed, or, I would have been worried about if I'm good at my job, Or, I wonder how my kids are doing. Like, she has, a wife and kids at home, but that like, it doesn't stop her from like doing her job well. And she's really great partners with, her partner. There's no sexual tension, there's no insecurity. And so that was really refreshing.
Her very first line when she steps in was like detective, but you knew that, you know? So
Mike had so much trouble with that line because he's such a nice guy. He's such a nice dude. And he was just like, oh man. He was like, oh, it's such a dicky thing to say. And I'm like, welcome to middle age, my friend. As
yeah,
women middle age. I'm lucky you even see me.
right. Welcome to my world. Got it.
Right? It happens, my friend.
Yep.
Yep.
So looking back at both of these projects, looking at SVU, looking at The Perfect Couple, and isolating them both, what is one thing from each of them that you could say maybe would surprise fans, something special that you took away from the experience that was really unique to your situation?
Well, definitely with The Perfect Couple, stillness. I've never been able to really show that on camera. And it was really great. And I'm really happy to sort of have that color out there now, just in my on-camera repertoire for people to know that's another thing I can do. And I mean that I can hold my own, I guess. That was a high-powered group of actors. One of the best parts of my job was doing all those interrogations. I would say to Mike, like, we would just sit there in the interrogation and like star after brilliant actor after amazing actor would just come in and sit across from us. And like, I would just sit there and be like, I can't believe I get paid for this. Like, this is like the most amazing masterclass I've ever experienced in my life. Because they all work differently. They all have different ways of doing things. Oh, my God, it was a dream come true. And I think for SVU, I think it's sort of the same thing, but in a different way. Paula had moments where she would be upset and maybe a little teary, but there was always a comic tinge to it. And it was a comedy. So you really couldn't have somebody just completely losing their shit. Because then it wouldn't fit. Paula always was just a little funny, even if she was like tragic. And I feel really great about my work in SVU because I really got a chance to dramatically go, to 11, which again, I don't think people might necessarily think of me for or know that I do if they haven't seen me in the theater. Like, again, I do that in the theater, but on camera. So it was really wonderful to be able to show. And that character was just so, you know, up and down and it was like a roller coaster ride. It was a blast to show all those different colors and all those different acting techniques in one episode. So I think those two gigs really allowed me to use muscles that I use in the theater, but like on camera.
So good. I have loved seeing you in this. I've loved it. I think you're phenomenal. I think you just killed it in every role. So
Thank you. Thank you so much. I look at myself as, if I dare to dream like a younger Kathy Bates. You know what I mean? Like, not that I'm like Kathy Bates, but if you're looking at like a type of actor who plays a certain type of roles, I would be overjoyed if my career sort of followed the path that Kathy Bates has sort of paved for actors like me, who kind of fall in between types. And yeah, and this past couple of years, I've kind of feel like, here we go. Ooh, this is my primary colors. This is like kind of like misery, like I was like, here we go, yay.
Well, you're so good. You're just so versatile. So I love seeing you just knock every role out of the park where it's just like home run every time.
Oh, you're the sweetest. Thank you for that. Thank you.
The last question I have to ask you, we are asking everybody on Awards Buzz, what are you watching right now?
What a great question. Um, this is terrible because now I'm like middle aged. I can't remember anything. Andy, what are we watching right now? Oh yeah, yeah. But what do we really love though? What were we watching? Being like, oh my god, oh Black Mirror. This season of Black Mirror, I think, like especially casting wise, and Mobland. Yeah, thank you. Um, but for me, Black Mirror this season, the casting and the acting was like there wasn't one misstep. Like to the background. Like even the extras in the background were like on it. That I think for me is one of my favorites. We watch Mobland, The Last of Us. I love sci-fi and fantasy with a dash of horror. I do love the dark things. And I'm rewatching Preacher because I rewatch shows that I love, like True Blood, and I'm on Preacher right now. So, but yeah, Black Mirror, I would say, gets my gold star at the moment.
So good. It's
Yeah.
so good. My favorites. Also, just a recommendation. If you like the kind of horror sci-fi,
Yeah.
check out From on
Oh
NBC.
yeah, no, we watch From, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah.
Check it off. Yeah, we've watched it. I'm just not watching that now because I'm waiting for the next season to come out.
Yeah, it's one of the, I know. It's good.
Takes
Good.
so
I'd
long.
love to see you on one of those. I would
Oh,
love
and I.
on that. Yes. Let's
Although a lot of our crew from Crazy X randomly was from True Blood, which of course thrilled me to no end. Because I was like, tell me more True Blood stories. They did mention, which I hadn't thought about, because again, theater, the night shoot situation. That's the only thing I'm afraid of. I would, my heart would love to be in like a vampire-y, monstery thing, but I am a little afraid of the night shoots and what it does to you. Like, it messes you up, apparently, night shoots. But I'd be willing to risk it.
it's a sacrifice well
That'd
worth
be
it.
the name of the show. Night Shoots, The Terror. That's what it would be. That'd be my show.
Oh my gosh, you are wonderful. You were such a delight. You absolutely made my morning. I had so much fun getting to hang out with you today.
Yes, let's do it again.
Yes. Yes.
All right, my love. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you so much.
Ah,
We'll talk soon.
okay. Bye.
Bye.